I'm just trying to decide if I'm comfortable even talking about
This one's wife. Oscars. We chose not to go. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This one's wife demonstrating an excellent example of the way that the narcissist behaves. As you know, on Sunday night it was the Oscars, and this was widely reported around the world. And as I mentioned in a video yesterday, this one's wife wasn't there because she was NFI'd, not fucking invited. An event that she would be giving her eye teeth to attend, because it would be with people that she regards as her natural stablemates, an environment that she believes that she belongs at, that she's superior to because after all she's a duchess, even though that is in a country which doesn't do such titles. That she considers herself part of the A-list by virtue of the fact that she once did some acting, although it wasn't particularly impressive. And the fact is, she regards the Oscars environment as a place that she ought to be, strolling up and down on the red carpet, drinking in all of that fuel, asserting control over the audience. But the fact is, she wasn't wanted. She wasn't wanted because she isn't part of that grouping. There were people who were less well known than her that were invited because they're actually more relevant. There were people that were invited because they're not problematic like she is. So many organisations have realised that if you invite this one's wife, she just takes over the event and makes it all about her, that she attempts to be bigger than the event itself. For some organisations, they're content to take the money from her because they need it. But for others, they don't need her there, and indeed, it would work against them to have her there. Thus, she wasn't invited. But of course, this one's wife cannot let it be known that she was NFI'd. She has to make it seem as if she decided that she did not go. And as a consequence of this, the Mirror with Scarlett O'Toole tells us this one's wife and Prince Harry snub the Oscars after last year's cruel nobody's jibe. Hang on a second. Let's file this one under bullshit. They didn't snub the Oscars. They were not invited. The evidence demonstrates that they would not be wanted at this event. But naturally, not being invited wounds this one's wife. And in order to nullify that wounding, that threat to control, her narcissism directs her to instruct the relevant agency to find an appropriate newspaper to make it be known that actually we could have gone, but we chose not to. Yeah, look, nobody believes you, this one's wife. Everybody knows that if you got an invitation, you would have been there within an instant. You'd have been there with your rictus grin, loving every moment of being seen on the red carpet, that you would be attempting to hobnob with the stars, wanting your own camera crew and photographer following you around, importing too many security people to make yourself look important. You would have relished the opportunity to be seen at the Oscars. And the fact is, you would not turn down an invitation. Your narcissism would say, gimme, 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 we need to go. But of course, you didn't get an invitation because the Oscars doesn't want you and it doesn't need you. So the Oscars said no. And your narcissism can't handle that. So it caused you to engage in a telling of another lie, another revision of history to add to all of the others that you've stacked up during your life. And thus, you claimed that you snubbed it. Prince Harry and this one's wife were nowhere to be seen as stars descended on Hollywood for the 96th Annual Academy Awards. A-listers such as Margot Robbie, Emma Stone and Robert Downey Jr. headed to the Dolby Theatre in Los Angeles on Sunday night for the glitzy awards show. When the gongs were all handed out, stars flocked to the Variety Fair after-party, with the likes of Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton putting on daring displays on the red carpet. However, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex did not make an appearance. It comes after they were brutally slammed as Hollywood nobodies after last year's Oscars. The couple were rumoured to be attending the Oscars to support this one's wife's photographer friend, Meghan Harriman. He earned a nomination for his debut writer-director film, The After, which was in the running for Best Live Action Short Film. Sadly, Meghan lost out on the Oscar to Wes Anderson's Henry Sugar. Not sadly, might be for him, but clearly that was a superior offering. Meghan is very close with this one's wife, with the former Suits actress even moderating a talk back in November to help promote his film. Of course, talking about Archie, I'd Like a Camera. This one's wife and Harry also skipped last year's Oscars, which earned them a savage nickname. They didn't skip it. They were NFI'd. Author Tom Bauer appeared on GB News last year and said, "They weren't even invited to Elton John's party at the Oscars. They really are nobodies in Hollywood." This one's wife and Harry's Oscars snub comes as the couple are trying to make it in Hollywood. This one's wife has embarked on a brand new podcast deal with Lemonada, which the couple also have things in the pipeline as part of their deal with Netflix. Thus, in the way that if you ended the relationship with the narcissist, which of course wounds the narcissist is then likely to go around telling other people that they ended the relationship, enabling them to save face by nullifying the threat to control and suggesting that they were the one that made the decision to bring the relationship to the end. That where the narcissist doesn't get a promotion, the narcissist says, "I didn't apply anyway. My future isn't at this company. I'm going to be leaving," which of course again is an attempt to nullify the threat to control as a consequence of the failure to secure the promotion. The fact is, where the narcissist isn't involved in something, where the narcissist does not get a promotion, doesn't get a job offer, isn't invited to something, doesn't receive approval to attend an event, that wounds the narcissist, with the consequence that the narcissist needs to be able to do something to nullify that threat to control, and commonly the easiest response is to suggest, "I wasn't interested anyway, I wasn't going, oh no, I told them I didn't want to go. They did invite me, but I said no." The evidence points to the contrary. We all know that this one's wife would love to go to the Oscars, but the simple fact is she wasn't invited because she's regarded as a grifting nobody, and instead, as a consequence of the threat to control that poses to her, she has to suggest that they chose not to go. People aren't going to accept that. A quick dive below the line. Swoosh 2. They were not invited. Why would they be? And they can't buy their way into everything. Stutolto. They do try hard, though. Stutolto adds, "I guess this proved that it's really hard to buy an Oscar." Nobody snubs the Oscars. What colossal, overweening hubris. You just can't make this stuff up. FTSCA Jane. The media-obsessed grifters were not invited. Derailed. She was a nobody even before she met Harry. It's more likely they weren't invited rather than them snubbing the event. They will only turn up to a red carpet event if it benefits them, like being awarded false lip service awards. Big Baz 654. Oh my God, is this the end of the Oscars as we know them? However, will they survive after being snubbed by the Sussexes? Please, Harry and this one's wife, reconsider your decision, and the organisers have promised not to mock you both about your love of money and desire for privacy, and they will not seat you next to the toilets this time. Funky Monkey 81. More like they weren't invited. HC2US. They didn't snub anything, as with any ceremony where the awards aren't technically bought beforehand. They were simply NFI'd. The fact is, people can see quite clearly they weren't invited, and this attempt to spin it by suggesting that they were the ones to snub the event doesn't get them anywhere. But she keeps on trying because the delusion of her narcissism insists that she does so. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.